For the past 25 years, the Florida Holocaust Museum has been entrusted with a collection that has grown to over 17,000 objects, artifacts, and art. The subject of the Holocaust is overwhelming. It is too easy to become lost in the horrors and the numbers of people who suffered and died. The objects in our collection help translate statistics into people, emphasizing the diversity of personal experiences within the larger historical narrative of the Holocaust. The personal artifacts and mementos help remind visitors that these events happened to ordinary people, just like us.
This particular artifact was my father Walter's Kiddush cup that he got for his bar mitzvah. It was so important that my grandmother was willing to risk arrest or worse in order to smuggle it out of Germany in 1939. This Kiddush cup and all the other artifacts that we have here, they belong to somebody, and those items tell a story. The preservation of artifacts is important because when there are no longer Holocaust survivors to speak, those artifacts will speak for them.
The backbone of all the museum's programs, exhibitions, and curriculum are the museum's collections of artifacts, objects, and art.
I was so impacted by the power of propaganda. Hitler started his reign through it. Because of a couple of posters, books, and movies, millions of innocent people died.
If we don't learn from history, it will repeat itself. And so I think it's very important to preserve all the possible memories and really have them in a place where people can see it and read about it. And hopefully the museum will be here for many, 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 many years. And they do a marvelous job of educating the public and especially school children.
As students and visitors examine the artifacts, they become historians themselves, bringing history to life and seeing its relevance to their own lives. These objects connect people to people.
Our students come to us as a last resort before dropping out. They are considered at-risk students, and most are uninterested in education and learning. However, the trip to the Florida Holocaust Museum was a turning point for our students this year. What they learned through this experience touches our hearts. They learn the importance of awareness and tolerance. They learn that they are more alike than they are different. For most of the students, the trip to the Florida Holocaust Museum is what stands out as their most memorable experience of the year.
The history of this violin is important to me and my family because it was the violin my father played after he was liberated from Dachau concentration camp. The importance of this violin to the world is emblematic of how people can use an instrument of any form, whether it's musical or otherwise, to assuage one's feelings and not knowing what the future may be.
Before the museum, we learned all the facts about the Holocaust, the people who died, how many died, and about all the camps. But at the museum, we learned the emotional aspect of the Holocaust by hearing a much more personal story.
The unique collection of the Florida Holocaust Museum has breadth and depth outside the artifacts directly related to the Holocaust, objects that shine a light on struggles in our own community. Objects from genocides that happened on distant shores.
This artifact I brought out of Sarajevo in the summer of 1993. I was in Sarajevo as a peace activist, and I visited a school where children were encouraged to draw 3 themes. One, what they used to have before the siege, what was happening in the siege, and what they hoped for the future.
Art is a special portal into understanding, and the Florida Holocaust Museum continuously collects and displays contemporary responses to the Holocaust and other genocides, and encourages a new generation of artists as part of its educational curriculum. For the past 25 years, people have chosen to donate their life stories to the Florida Holocaust Museum. The events of the Holocaust are not abstract history to them. They are deeply personal. It has been our honor and privilege to care for these objects and to share them with students and other visitors. Now, we look to the next 25 years.
We've donated it to the Florida Holocaust Museum in the hopes that they will take care of it and ensure that many people throughout the generations, especially now, since the survivors are less and less almost every day, and the stories, the direct stories that we've been able to hear and share and are so proud to be a part of will no longer be available. It is very important that our generation, and generations to come, our children and children's children, do whatever they can to preserve the importance of the story and survival during a time of unimaginable, horrific acts that were done.